Hello friends, my name is Tarun Pasrija and you're watching my channel DWBI. Now as part of this video, I'm gonna cover the part 2 introduction to Pentaho BI 101. Now Pentaho essentially contains two major components. One is the reporting and the other is the data integration. Now when I say reporting, what it means that you would like to do some sort of visualization on the data that you already have. You would like to create, for an example, some sort of beautiful reports with headers or footers or some data that actually makes sense, some models that make sense, and you want to present it back to the management, or you want to use in your business for further analysis. Now, Pentaho data integration technologies, I would say, enable you to do these sort of reporting. For an example, you have data in multiple sources and you don't know how to actually take care of all that data and put it into a single source, then Pentaho data integration is the right tool to actually enable you to do that. Now I have data in an Excel file and data into three more databases, and I want to aggregate all that data and put it into a single source so that I can do my reporting on. Then Pentaho data integration is gonna help you to do that. It also has a host of other tools which is going to help you to do some sort of statistical analysis. For an example, it has Becca integrated with it, and it has another technology called InstaView integrated with it, which will help you to do some sort of analysis on the big data. Now, without further ado, let us get into all of these components one by one as part of this introduction so that you can go ahead and read about them more and also get started working on it. Now let's get started with the first component in the reporting structure called the analyzer report. Now I can create a new analyzer report either by clicking on the new analysis over here, or I can click on the toolbar over here to say new analyzer report, or I can also go and say file, new, and analyzer report. Now it gives me a set of data sources which are essentially cubes that are built over Mondrian. Now you might not be aware of what exactly a cube is or what exactly a Mondrian is, which majorly forms the middleware of the entire Pentaho suite. But let's concentrate on the visualization aspects of this particular tool, and in the later videos we are going to cover what exactly a cube is, Mondrian is, and multiple of those middleware technologies as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the steel wheel sales over here, and I'll say okay. So it gives me a beautiful interface which has the pane which gives me all the fields. It has a layout where I would like to select what my rows are, what my columns are, what my measures are, and also a pane where I will be able to preview my data. So I would like to say that I want to see the quantity and sales. So what I've done is I've basically double clicked this, and since these are measures, it will automatically go and sit in the measures layout. Since I have my auto refresh enabled, it's automatically gonna put the data in this particular pane as soon as I drag and drop anything in the layout. Now I can go ahead and disable that, but it's a personal choice. At this point, what it is showing is basically the values which is aggregated over the entire set of data, so the entire quantity and the entire sales. Now I would like to see all the quantities and the sales by country, so I'm gonna click on the country and I'm gonna drag this in the rows column, and you have got the output. For each of the country you have the quantity as well as sales bifurcated. Now I would also like to say that for each of these countries I would like to go ahead and see the bifurcation of the quantity and sales by year as well. So I'm gonna pick the years and I'm gonna put it on the columns. So it gives me in Australia in 2003, 2004 and 2005 the bifurcation of the quantity and the sales that have happened. Now it is not necessary that I need to actually go ahead and put it into the columns itself. I can also go ahead and put it in the rows itself. And you see it gives me the same bifurcation, but I like the look of that much better because it gives me a view of a cross tab. Now this report itself is very good to be presented to the management, but I would like to say that I want the quantity and sales only for 2004 and 2005 to be sent across to the management. So how do I do that? There are two ways to essentially do that. Either I can right click and say keep only 2004, then it's gonna give me data for only 2004, but my purpose essentially is that I want 2004 and 2005. So if you see over here, there's a filter pane in which I would go and select the years and drag and drop over here. It gives me a set of options where I can go and say select from a list, and I can say 2004 and 2005, and I will hit OK. As soon as I hit OK, I'll minimize this particular pane, and I will see that I have data for only 2004 and 2005. Now this gives you very valuable information because you have 2004 2005 data, and I can go and hit this tools button and say export to PDF, Excel or CSV, and I can send it across to any of the business persons or anybody I want to, right? Now I might also want to say I don't want to show them a tabular report for this, but I would like to show them a report in a good chart format. So I can go ahead and click on this particular button, which is gonna render this into a chart format, and I will also get a host of options where I can go ahead and select a particular chart of my need. So I can go and click on the stack bar for an example, and this gives me a beautiful view that I can go and send it across to the management, which gives me an idea of what happened in the 2004 for quantity and sales, and also how it happened in 2005. I can go ahead and click on this legend and I can select only 2004, or I can go and click on this legend, I can go ahead and select only 2005. It also gives me an option to say keep only or exclude or clear selection, so that I can go and make a filter out of this, so that there is only 2005, which I do not want. I just want to go ahead and play around with this visualization. Now that said, you also get a lot of options when you go ahead and hover on this. Since this particular years follows a strict hierarchy of years, quarters and months, I can also go and select only France and double click to say I want to see only quarters. So it gives you an option of how exactly you can interact with the chart. So as soon as I go ahead and click on France, I double click over here and I see a bifurcation of each of these quarters, quarter 1, 2, 3 and 4 in 2004, how it happened in France. Now since I clicked only the 2004 icon into that is exactly the reason why it is showing only 2004. So let me go and undo this, and I go back here, and I saw that I double clicked on 2004, and that's why it showed me only the quarters for 2004 in France. So this gives you a very good idea of how you can go ahead and interact with the chart. What I would like to do now is I would like to go back to the table and like to do some real analysis. Now let me go ahead and create another filter on, say, products. So I will go and drag the product in the filter, and I'm gonna select the second one over here and say OK. And this is the data that I get. Now if you see over here, for an example, let me minimize this. Japan in 2004 for this product did not have any quantity or sales, but it had it for 2005. But the same product across other countries, most of the other countries except USA, did have sales in 2004 but did not have in 2005. So this gets the management thinking of what exactly happened. And this exactly is what we mean by analysis and reporting. Now you've already seen the analysis have been created over the OLAP cubes. There is another way to create the reports, which is the interactive report, which is the second component we are going to cover as part of the reporting. And the interactive report essentially is directly on the metadata models and communicates directly with the database. The difference between the OLAP reports, the analyzer reports, and the interactive report is that this will go and hit the database directly without any middleware model to enhance the performance and things, or any middleware metadata schema, whereas the analyzer report works on top of the OLAP model, which will enhance the performance to give you a very good analysis on huge sets of data as well. So in this example, I'm gonna take orders for an example, and this is gonna give me a sort of a wizard structure. So as you can see, this is sort of a report, exactly how reports are there. I can double click on this. I can say test report. I can go and select my territory, and I can go ahead and say the second column I want is the credit limit in each of these territories. I would also like to say my country, and it's gonna give me for each of these. Okay, so in the database I don't have any countries specified for these. I mean, sorry, the territory is specified for these, so it's basically a bad example. Let me go and remove the territory. And say products. Great. So for each of this country, this looks exactly similar, but it gives you a sort of a different view, and it's coming directly from the database. However, at this point, you might not be able to make out the difference between the analyzer versus this on terms of the performance. But on huge sets of data, it will really make a difference, because the analyzer works on top of the OLAP as well as the modern structure, which is going to give you huge performance benefits on huge sets of data. Now there are a host of options over here as well. You can go and since this is already paginated, you can go ahead and click each of these pages, and then you should be able to filter down the data, as well as create multiple groups of the data and do similar things as well. So you can also so one of the major differences also, that if you want to create beautiful textual reports that the interact report is going to give you, is that you can go ahead and do some sort of formatting and colors on each of these. There are a bunch of options that you can either sort this ascending or descending, or you can move this left and right, or aggregate on, create summaries and things like that. All these options are also available on the analyzer report. You can create column totals and row totals as well. But this gives you additional benefit of doing some sort of formatting. But in the longer run, my personal choice is always to use the OLAP cubes and analyzer reports, because of the performance. It's very hard in today's day to actually find data of data sizes that are very small, which interactive report can actually support. Now the next component in the reporting structure is what we're going to cover is the Pentaho report designer. The Pentaho report designer is similar to what most of you must be aware with Crystal reports. Now, as soon as you open up the Pentaho report designer from your applications, when you install Pentaho, this also gets installed inside the design tools. Now, as soon as you open it, you get a host of options. For an example, I would like to start with a small sample itself, and say I want to open up the say the inventory list. Now, with people who are familiar with crystal reports, it will be very simple for them to understand that this gives you a reporting structure of a very customized reporting structure, where you can set a particular header, you can set a particular group header, details, report header, footer, page footer, and things like that. And and on the right pane, you basically get how you want to create the structure of this particular report, and how you want the data. So data is through the JDBC, and you have specific queries which will actually fill the data into this particular report. Now you can set some sort of environment variables over here. You can put functions, you can put formulas, you can put some sort of parameters that can be passed to this report, some sort of filters and things like that. And the output for this report, as soon as you go to the file and go ahead and publish this particular report, you can either preview before actually publishing that particular report, or you can go ahead and directly publish the report and see it in your repository. So when I say repository, as soon as you publish this report, it's gonna ask you where your Pentaho installation lies, and it's gonna publish it to the Pentaho reporting server. And as soon as you publish it to the Pentaho reporting server, you're gonna get it into your repository where you published it. And if you see, this particular inventory list in the reporting in the steel wheel sales is exactly the report that we see on the designed by the Pentaho report designer. So by opening these sample reports, it will give you a very good understanding of how these reports are lined up, how you can create similar sort of reports, and it's a very good learning exercise as well. So you see, this particular report that you see over here has now got converted into with the data filled in. It actually has this particular view. I can go to each of these pages, and then I also have multiple options, like I can see the output type as either HTML or the PDF. I can put it as an Excel, CSV, or whatever is required. I can go and select the filters for each one of them, right? I can uncheck the auto submit and select whatever I want to, and then I can say view report. So it's gonna return back 20 now. So this also is going and hitting the database directly with SQL queries and getting you back the data. So for getting the data in a scheduled fashion, which where you don't worry about too much of performance and things like that, the interactive report and the Pentaho report designer are very good options. But yes, people in the multidimensional world mostly go with the analyzer because that's much more faster and performant. And it's a lot simpler for people to go and directly do ad hoc reporting on them, because these are standardized fixed reports which the business probably wants on an everyday basis to see their inventory, to see what products are lined up when and things like that. But those reports are essentially for driving the business forward, to say that okay, where are the problems and the loopholes in the business, and I would like to delve further. Now the next component that we're going to cover is the dashboard designer. Now the dashboard designer is a very critical component inside this, because it allows you to have all your reports that you have created. For an example, I've created a lot of reports and analysis using the analyzer app and saved them. I've created a lot of reports using my report designer and I saved them. There are a few reports that I might have created using my interactive report and saved them. But I want to see a singular dashboard every single day that I come online and I log in into my console. And that's what the dashboard designer is will allow you to do. You can actually put multiple reports into same dashboard together to see them together and also link them. So for an example, when I click on my dashboard designer, I get an option of what sort of panel I would like to create. So I would like to say that I will say create a one-on-one. So I'm gonna see one report on top and one report on down, and I go and select a theme for this to say gradient. Like gradient, I can go and set the properties and set its name to say sample dashboard, and I can put it as a refresh interval as well to say that okay, I would like this dashboard to auto refresh every 30 seconds or every 120 seconds, which is also good, uh, so that if there is some sort of live data that is coming into a database from which you have driven the dashboard, then you always get a refresh view of your data every 120 seconds. Now what I'm going to do is on top and bottom I'm going to drop some sort of reports, and I can say the EMEA sales map. Okay, so I don't want a map. Probably I would like to go and say, so I discard the current content and I'm overwriting it with the top 5 categories over here, and I go back to my reporting, and I come down over here and I will say the product sales, okay, on our bottom report. There you go. So what you have over here now is this, I've hit apply on this. This has certain sort of parameters that can be linked to it. For an example, classic cars have been passed and the product code has been passed to this. These are the default parameters, and according to that you actually see the data for this. But you can go ahead and pass the parameters and design this to get to get more parameters in. So I can maybe double click this and go, and this can actually open it up in a new window so that I can see a bigger dashboard. Oh, sorry, since I did not save that, so it has actually created a new dashboard over here, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go file and save this as inside sale wheels dashboard. I'm gonna say, and save it as a sample dashboard. Now even when I close this, it really does not matter, because it's now saved inside my dashboard panel. With this, I also have multiple settings that I can go ahead and again change the template for this. I can change the title for each of these reports. I can go and say, and each of these can have their own refresh intervals. For an example, the entire dashboard might have a 120-second refresh interval, but this particular dashboard has a 30-second refresh interval. So all those things are possible. Now the other possibilities with the dashboard also is that if you can do a content linking with the parameters, so that if you click on any of these parameters, the below one also gets refreshed, which the example for which we have already seen in the previous dashboards. And you're most welcome to go and open those dashboards in edit mode to actually figure out how you can do the parameter linking. Nonetheless, we're going to cover those aspects in the further videos, but as part of introduction, I'm not going to cover them in the scope for today. So let me try and close this. I will go to the dashboards and I will see that the sample dashboard has already been saved here, and I can double click on this and I already have the dashboard over here. Now if I would like to edit this dashboard back, then I can always click on this particular dashboard, and I can click on this particular dashboard and I can hit the edit button, and it's gonna give me in the edit mode. If you see over here, all the filters and everything that you create inside the analyzer report are also available for you in the dashboard, so that you can go ahead and do further analysis inside the dashboard itself, and you don't need to go back to your report to do that particular thing. So for an example, when I click this already had a drill through built in, which opens up for this particular territory of APAC, the classic line cars, and the year 2003. It opens up the entire set of data which you can export to CSV. All these how to create the drill through and all these things we're going to cover as part of the further videos, but I hope that you got the essence for this. Now the next tool that we're going to cover as part of the reporting structure is the schema workbench. Now schema workbench is not a tool in itself that will enable you to for any sort of reporting, but as we saw in the analyzer, we saw some data sources, the quadrant analysis and the steel wheel sales. These are nothing but the sample set of cubes or schemas that are actually created by the schema workbench. So it becomes a very critical tool to enable reporting. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up a schema, a sample schema of the steel wheel sales or something like that, and see how Schema Workbench can actually enable you to go ahead and create similar schemas from your database, or what I should call it as a star schema sort of database, data mart, and help you to create those modern cubes. So I am into the Pentaho installation, and I'm gonna go to my server, BI server, Pentaho solutions. I have steel wheels, analysis, and alright, so this is the steel wheels modern XML, which actually helped you to create all these analyzer reports. So I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna open this up. Okay, so since the database connection is not set at this point of time, I can go ahead and create and set a database connection over here for this. When I go ahead and click on the options and connection, it will open up a connection and I can go ahead and create a connection for the sample data. But let's not do that because that is not the motive of this, but let's walk through this itself. These crosses, the red cross that you see, are majorly because the reason that we have not put any database at this point of time. We have not set any database connection at this point of time, but the schema per se is absolutely correct. So if you would like to publish this particular data back to the modern server, then you will need to set the database connection to exactly what it is in the Pentaho console. How to do all those things we are gonna walk through when we take further deep dive into the schema workbench and Mondrian and analyzer into further videos. But for the sake of completion, what we will do is we'll walk through the schema workbench and its properties. In Schema Workbench, you can go ahead and create this particular cube called Steel Wheel Says, give it a particular table, and then you can go ahead and define your major dimensions, whether it is markets, customers, product, time, and also each of their hierarchies. Each of the hierarchies you can sort of define, whether this is and type of an integer, what is the column that it should pick it on. So in all, it gives you a sort of a schema in an XML format. If I click on this button, I see the entire XML for this that has been generated, and what it gives me is a complete metadata over the data mart that I already have. This metadata is basically understood by the middleware layer that enables the Pentaho analyzer to give highly performant reports. Now, after finishing up the creation of the schema in the schema workbench, I can directly go ahead and publish this onto the Mondrian server. I can click on publish, and I can it will ask me where my Pentaho is hosted, the username and password. As soon as I give that, it is going to ask me the path where I would like to store this XML file. Now, as soon as you publish this, you can directly go back to your analyzer and you can start using this particular cube for your reports. Now, the next component, which is also very critical, that I'm going to cover, is the CTools framework. Now, CTools comes from a company called Web Details, which was recently acquired by Pentaho, but it always used to come and support Pentaho by providing multiple plugins. Now, as you can see, the CTools has a lot of plugins called CD, CCC2, CTF, CGG, and we're not gonna delve into each of these components part of the introduction, but I would like to give you an essence of each of these components. Now, there are multiple companies who actually want to create very custom reporting. They're not satisfied with having interactive reports. They're not satisfied with having any sort of analyzer reports or from the reports from the Pentaho report designer, but they have their own application where they want to actually go ahead and embed analytics and want the reports out of Pentaho or charts out of Pentaho to be embedded into their application. So CTools framework enables beautiful visualizations, as well as a very good ability to embed in a very easy fashion. So all these tools, for an example, the community dashboard editor is nothing but a framework which enables you to create faster dashboards, or faster, smaller, small reports, small dashboards, and have it integrated into any application using iframes or any other technologies. Uh, Now CCC2 stands for the community charting components. This is a part of the C2's framework as well, which is built on top of Protobus, and which is a very powerful free and open source visualization toolkit. Now what this enables you to do is basically that it gives you very nice looking HTML5 charts, which are easily embeddable, and they are they look very good in every browser and even on mobile frameworks. The other tools that they provide is, one of the very good tools they provide is the CDA framework, which enables you to do data access, or get data from multiple sources and provide a JSON or a RESTful web service back to the application that asks for, so that you can go ahead and embed the data into that application and display your own charts. We're going to delve further into those things when we come to the C2 framework in later tutorials, but I would like to show you an example of what the C2's framework can do. So when you go to the web details framework and you go and click on the CD, it also gives you a link to see the demo. Now this demo is basically built on the entirely on the C2's framework using CDA, CDF, and CDE. And you see this is a beautiful visualization that you can go ahead and embed into any of your applications. You will not be able to get such a visualization from either analyzer or dashboard designer, because this is totally custom. This is completely custom reporting that you are drawing out of the Pentaho. So you have the sales profit versus this. This chart has been built using the CCC framework, which gives you tool tips and everything. These are all HTML5 charts, and these are the set of filters that you can go and select. And this entire thing is called the C2's dashboard, as they call it. It's very pretty, and you can go ahead and embed this into any of the applications that you want. So that's said about the reporting structure. We have already covered the analyzer, the interactive report, the dashboard designer, report designer, schema workbench, and also the C-tools framework. The key components that are used in most of the high performing networks are the analyzer, the dashboard designer, which can aggregate multiple of your analyzer reports, and as we have seen in the introduction one, we can actually cross-link the reports with each other to have a better dashboard. The C-tools framework, which is used for a completely custom solution, and you can get beautiful reports in HTML5 format. Now, jumping from the reporting framework to the data integration framework, this is the look and feel of the data integration suite. Now, as you can see, the data integration tool set also forms a part of the design tools after when you install the Pentaho on your machine, and you have some sort of documents on the getting started. You can go to the community, the samples, and see what's new into this data integration. Now, the data integration actually forms, in a nutshell, what I would like, or most of the people would say, that data integration is nothing but an ETL transform. What an ETL essentially means is an extract, transform, load. So, for an example, I have a hello world example where I am trying to take out values from a normal CSV file, which has only the names, and I am trying to do something with it and outputting a file which says hello Tarun, hello Jim, hello Susan, and things like that. So what we have done, what you see over here is that you have various design components where you have multiple steps that you can see. You can use a CSV file input or a data grid, or you can take it from files. Multiple inputs that you can see. So many inputs. You can directly take it from a Microsoft Excel. You can take the OLAP as an input and RS as an input, or Salesforce integration is required. So all of these are amazing set of technologies that can directly be taken data from and used in any of the scenarios that you want to extract, transform, load. And you can again output it back to the Salesforce. You can go and output it to a Microsoft Excel, and host of the outputs is at your disposal. You can use a lot of transformation functions which are already built in. Like for an example, you want to put a checksum on a file, you want to put a sequence, you want to add an XML or a calculator, or anything that you would like to do. And so many of these things are very useful when you are working with real world scenarios. So this entire data integration suite is a very useful tool. You can create such sort of workflows, schedule them to run on a period intervals of time, and even schedule the outputs to be sent to particular email addresses. For an example, so I would like to create a report, for an example, which contains my daily usage report, and I would like to send that across to my management, so that they know that who is actually going and using an application on a daily basis. So those sort of log analysis we can do with this. And there are multiple of host of things that you can do with this. For an example, you want to create a data mart, and you want multiple data sources to aggregate and come into and sit into that data mart. So that is enabled through this data integration. Now, as you see over here, there are multiple perspectives. The first perspective that I open is data integration. Now there are multiple other perspectives. For an example, you have a model. Now you can create a model. This is integrated with the data mining engine called Veka, and you can go ahead and create a model. At this point, I don't have any examples to show you for the model or the forecast, but once those who are familiarized with familiar with Veka or R would be able to easily go ahead and create any sort of models. So you can go and create a new model, and then further take it from there. Once you build a model, then you can also go to the forecast analysis and create those sort of forecasting reports that are required for you. You also have the InstaView that we talked about, which is basically the data exploration for the big data technology. So you can directly connect to your Hive technologies, and easily visualize the data directly from there. It's going to take a little bit of time, because they are little slower systems and they are clustered across multiple machines, but this is going to give you a direct connection to them, and will help you to go and visualize them in a very nice way. Now that said, I would like to stop here, and I would not like to delve too much into each of these components at this point, as part of the introduction itself. And in the further videos, I would like to take it one by one and help you to get a little bit more deeper into each of these components. I would also encourage you that if you find it interesting, or you find any of the components interesting in these that you would like to read further, you can go to the document section that is provided, and you can easily get started with multiple of these guides that are there. If you see, there is a getting started with InstaView.pdf, there is a getting started with PDI, there is a getting started with Pentaho, there's a Hadoop guide. You can how to install into multiple things, and there are a lot of very good guides that are already present as part of the Pentaho documentation, which will help you to get started. So friends, I would like to conclude the introduction series of the Pentaho BI one-on-one. What we have tried to achieve in these introduction videos is to get you familiarized with all the critical components inside the Pentaho BI suite, so that you know what's good for your business and what exactly do you need to use for what purpose. Now, as part of the next videos, we are going to take each of these components one by one, and we're going to get into a lot more detail with real world scenarios and examples. So I believe that this was helpful to you. Thank you for watching.